You have to truly believe in the magic.
What's up, Magic fans, and welcome to this week's episode of Penny for Your Thoughts, the Orlando Magic UK podcast. Today is Friday, the 16th of September 2022. As always, well, not as always, this week we're joined by our friend Geraint, the Cardiff Kuzma. That's what Gary
mate.
told me we had to call you every week now.
Don't associate me with that clown.
From one clown to another, mate.
Yeah,
how are you,
fair
mate?
enough.
Good to have you back on this week.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Yeah, no, really enjoyed listening to the podcast last week. Did a sterling job, all of you. It's nice to be back. We took a trip to the theatre in Cardiff. My wife got us tickets to see Frensicle the musical. So that was an eye-opener.
And it wasn't the best, you said.
Well, you could tell why it wasn't in Broadway, or West End, and it was just touring. So it was all right. It was all right, just a little bit too much in a few places. So, yeah,
good stuff. And from Cardiff to Sunderland, as you call it, up north. Gary, what's up, mate? How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. I'm not on the cider. And I've also got no stories of musicals or pitchforks tonight.
Good stuff. So Gary's filling in for Paul, who's a little bit unwell tonight, so he's not going to be with us, but hopefully he'll be back next week. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the unveiling of the new Orlando Magic statement jerseys. Franz Wagner, who's currently playing for Germany in Eurobasket, which we'll get to a little bit later on, and a little bit more as well. So before we do all of that, if you would like to help us do what we do, the first thing you could do is subscribe to the Orlando Magic UK YouTube channel. The reason we ask is once we get to 1,000 subscribers, we're a little way off that yet, on the platform, then we can then start to sort of monetize our podcast, and that will help pay for everything we do with the website and the podcast and everything else. So if you could do that, that would be great. You can also use our affiliate links for the NBA store and Fanatics UK. All you need to do is click on the description in the link below, or head to the website orlandomagicuk.com, and you can find our links over there. Right, quick bit of Magic news. Now I'm really going to bodge this up. I'm going to do a poll this week. So on Tuesday, the Orlando Magic announced that we've signed free agent Joel Ajay.
Close enough, mate.
Correct me.
No, happy with your pronunciation there.
Well done, Mikey.
Well done. So Ajay started 29 games last year for Capital City of the G League. He's former teammate of Magic guard Jalen Suggs at Gonzaga, where he spent 3 years with the Bulldogs, and he'll wear number 17 for the Magic. I'm guessing this is probably just a training camp invite, just to fill out the roster ready for the start of pre-season and training camp. But we shall see. Any quick thoughts, guys?
Okay.
He gets to wear the famous number 17 of Jonathan Simmons, I believe. So big shoes.
Which G actually said to us off air the other day that the worst jersey you've ever bought was the Jonathan Simmons jersey. Is that right?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Jonathan Simmons. No, that's a space jersey. I like that jersey.
Was it just
Which
having
jersey
Jonathan Simmons? No, because we were talking about the the famous big baby jersey being the worst one that I've ever purchased, and I think that one come up amongst yours.
Probably, yeah. I mean, we went to Orlando that season, managed to get that jersey and a couple of others, because I think it was just when Nike took over. It was our first City jersey. And I did pick Jonathan Simmons because he started the season very well, but then it petered off, didn't it? So, it's a bit of a rare one to have, number 17. But I suppose at least it's not Brzdikis, isn't it?
Have you got a Brzdikis one, Gary, in your collection?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I didn't mind him.
You got a little bit too much hate. I mean, the guy's just doing his job.
I nearly bid on the Lakeland one. I nearly bid on the Iggy because they had a Lakeland one up for him, but
Yeah,
I saw Admiral was there, and I was like, oh, it's definitely Admiral.
it's got to be done. It's got to be done. Well, tonight's topic is all about jerseys. So if you've been living under a rock since yesterday, on Thursday, the Magic released the brand new Statement Edition jerseys featuring number 1 pick Paolo Banchero in some of their photos. In their press release, it states, inspired by legends, this uniform is created for the next legacy of Magic basketball. I actually thought that line was interesting. So maybe these jerseys are going to lead the way for changes in the other one, perhaps. The new uniform features the team's primary blue colour and black pinstripes as a tribute to fan favourite moments created by Magic legends. The black star pattern cascades along the sides, paying homage to the uniforms from 1998 to 2003. The Magic Statement Edition jersey is a modern twist on a Magic classic, stars and pinstripes. The uniform also features a white Jordan Brand logo, a Disney patch, and they will debut at the season opener against the Boston Celtics, which Gary will be over in Orlando for. The team will wear the Statement uniform for 10 home games this season, and it's the third of 4 uniforms in the collection this year. We're still waiting for the new City Edition jersey to be unveiled, even though there's a few little mock-ups online. So, boys, first impressions. G? I should say Geraint, really, because I'm going to get you too confused tonight.
That's so good. Yeah. So obviously we saw the leak from the 2K catalog, and I think we were all a little bit disappointed and thinking, it's going to be better. But luckily, having seen the unveiling of this one, it is a lot better. It's cleaner. You've obviously got the pinstripes. You've got the stars, which I know Mikey loves because that's his favourite blue jersey. It's a nice, fresh look. I'll certainly be getting it. Originally, having been a little bit disappointed, like I said, about the initial unveiling. There's a couple of items that perhaps I would change, but maybe we're not allowed to at the moment. So all in all, I shall definitely be buying this. Roll on release date, isn't it?
Gary?
I love the green. No, I'm just
it's not green.
Just so we know, it isn't green, and it wasn't one of those like eyesight games about what color do you see or anything. It was like the way they'd set the photography up, I believe, for it. But what G said really about when we saw the 2K leak, it didn't look great. And I've got to be honest, the job that Nike's done on a lot of the jerseys that's come out this season, I was really worried about what we were going to get, because I think when you look, for example, what Golden State had and what they're going to, it's pretty worrying, and Utah's jerseys, etc. So when I saw that 2K leak, I just thought, oh no, it's like a really lazy take. For me, as G said, there's certain things I think, for example, font that can't be changed. I like the star print on the side. I think that's, for me, saved the jersey, because I think if they hadn't put that on there, it would have just been like quite a lazy update, just like changing the colours and tweaking them of the black uniform or the old blue pinstripes we've had. But I like it. It looks quite clean. And I think the black pinstripes, when you've actually seen them on the jersey itself, look better than I thought they would.
Yeah. I have to say, again, like you guys, when the first leaks were coming out from 2K, it was pretty underwhelming, to say the least. And we saw Omar probably about a month ago, 5-6 weeks ago, had his own mock-up, and the only detail, and fair play to him, the only detail that he got wrong was the fact the stars are black and not blue that he had on his original mock-ups. And it's not the first season that he's actually leaked some of these designs. But I have to say, the more I look at it, it is really, really growing on me. Mm-hmm. The stars, I mean, G's already said, I love the stars. The stars are my favourite Magic jerseys of all time. the way that they've actually changed, because we've never seen black pinstripes on a Magic jersey, or on a Magic blue jersey, so that's something new. It actually makes the details of the font and the numbers and the logos pop a little bit more, with it being the only white details on the jersey. Yeah, we're going to get into like the history of the statement jerseys in a minute, but first impressions, I really like it. And I guarantee, even if G didn't like it, he's still going to get a Markel Fultz on. So that's it. I'd put my money on that happening anytime. But yeah, I think it's a really nice design. Can it be improved? Yes. So I'm going to go on to my next question. I want to know one thing you love about it and one thing that you'd change. Gary?
I love the side panels with the stars on, and I would have the old Magic logo across the front instead of the one that is there now. So classic Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I mean, you've picked up on the font, but then also the number font as well. You know, you go back to that almost cartoony kind of, squiggle of a number, which is what, Orlando's renowned for. But I'm going to be controversial and say another thing. On the shorts, I always loved the star on each side. Mm-hmm. I don't know why they couldn't have done that. I mean, we didn't get it on this year's City jersey, but I did like what we did on those. But the original star on the shorts on each side, I'd certainly try and get them involved. So, I mean, I don't know, I do like the black on it. I think it makes it, I don't know, cleaner. Yeah, so no, I'll be there. First days out with my pitchfork, get my Markel Fultz jersey.
It's 100% an upgrade on the one that we've had for the last 3 years with the plain blue ones. I think you said, we had a quick chat earlier, G, and we said that jersey it felt like it didn't really know what it wanted to be, with the little black panel with the few little pinstripes, but it did have the star on the side of those shorts. If they had found a way of including that on this, that might have made it a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think everyone's going to say the same thing. As soon as we get the chance to go back to the original fonts and numbers, that will make all of these jerseys 10 times better than they already are.
I mean, another thing you could do, if you couldn't play with the Orlando font, is you get a star in for the A.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I do think, like Gary said earlier about Nike, with some of the designs that they've come out with, I do think there are some designs, and I'm talking across the board and across all of the teams now, where some of the designs are actually good. What really lets a lot of these jerseys down is the fonts. Like, if you think back to like the 2000s, that era, with a lot of those jerseys, for example, a lot of those jerseys were really good because of the logos and the fonts that the teams used. Now, if you just have a quick snapshot at a lot of the teams' jerseys now, they all just look the same, just in different colours. The fonts look similar. They're all very corporate-y, very clean, very modern. There's not really much character to them, and I feel like that's the main thing that's lacking. Like, I don't know if you guys saw, and I actually, it come up on my feed earlier. Have you seen the Timberwolves' new statement jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the video that they released it with? I think it was like the Northern Lights or something like that,
yeah,
flowing through Minnesota, and the unveiling of the jersey. That jersey, I think, is actually very nice, very clean. The colour scheme's good, but the font just lets it down massively. I feel like a lot of the jerseys are like that for me. But
the reckon with that font, if you look at it very closely on the font, that there's actually like two of the letters just go down slightly.
2 V's. There's
and
two.
it's trying like they're saying it might be like wolves' fangs, is what they're hinting at.
Oh, okay.
That was in a jersey analysis. I think it was Casey Vitelli was saying it might have been the Wolves Fang, but
yeah, I think it was the drop in the M and
Yeah.
the V, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a little bit lower than the rest, but
Yeah.
even so, that's pretty
Well,
lazy, isn't it?
and like what they did to Golden State's and Utah's jerseys, come on, you know.
And Cleveland.
Cleveland, yeah.
But they had so much to go off there. You know, they could have just put together a load of Cavs jerseys and made really good jerseys. Utah, they could have just brought back anything with the musical notes or the mountains on, and they're on to a winner. And
Yeah.
just terrible.
And I think, and I know I've seen a lot of people comment on Twitter just saying, just bring back the old jerseys. And look, the Magic know what everybody wants. The problem is it's not just down to the Magic to make that cool. I think Nike have a massive say in that. I think there's rules, like we know the classic edition jerseys come out on an anniversary season every year. I think that there's rules around when they can't be used. So it's a shame. I mean, let's be honest, right? The NBA is a massive money-making machine, and redesigning jerseys and releasing them every year is a big part of the money that they generate. It's just a shame because the classic jerseys for a lot of these teams is what makes the league stand out for me. Like you look at the NFL, you look at MLB, and you look at what's the other one I forgot about?
NHL.
A lot of the teams' jerseys every year stay the same or very similar. There's only minor tweaks that they make. Like I'm a big Raiders fan, you guys know that, and part of being a Raiders fan is the classic black and the silver and the Raiders logo on the helmet. That just makes the Raiders jersey, like, you know, if you look at that, it's a Raiders jersey, and you can look at a whole list of teams that are like that. Whereas the NBA, they've kind of lost that little bit of nostalgia for me. It would be nice to see it come
unless
back.
you're the Boston Celtics and you've got the same jersey you had in 1950.
Yeah, but that's fine. But you think of the two or three teams that everyone associates the NBA with as being the most popular, the Lakers, the Celtics, and the Bulls. The majority of their jerseys stay that they have that same sort of feel and that same, like you look at the Lakers jerseys, yeah, they're changing, I don't know, certain styles of the jersey, but they're still using the original font. The Celtics are still using the original font. As basic as the Celtics font probably is, that's always been, people have always sort of linked that with them, haven't they? Yeah. But yeah, so going on to the next question then. So this is, by my calculation, the 7th version of the blue jerseys that we've had since 89. So we had the original pinstripes from 88 to 98. We had the Stars jerseys, which I'm wearing at the moment, from 98 till 2003. Then we went to the plain blue jerseys, which Gary's got hanging up behind him with the single star in the neck, from 2003 to 2008. Then we had the Adidas version of the modern pins, which Gary's wearing. Then we had the Nike version of the modern pins, which I've got here, if you're looking on YouTube, with JI on the back. And we'll talk about the details in a minute. And then the last 3 years, we've had the plain Nike statement jerseys, which we talked about with the little black side panels and the stars on the side of the shorts. So out of these 7, including the New Jersey, where do you rank? How would you rank the 7?
I didn't think you'd be asking us to do all 7, mate.
Yes, why not?
I thought you wanted a top 3.
Nah, let's go 7.
All
right,
let Gary go first.
Go from worst to best then.
For me, undoubtedly worst is the one that we've just got rid of. And I'd put it there because, as was said, I don't think it ever really knew what it wanted to be. And it just came off as it was saved by the shorts. If it was just the jersey by itself, I think it was quite poor. And I even think the side panel where it just had like the little box with the stripes in that, it didn't even commit to that properly. So I couldn't get away with that jersey. I preferred the one with the pinstripes on. I preferred which like this one and the one that followed. I preferred even the plain one because it knew what it wanted to be. But that one was just when it got released, I just went, I can't believe that's the the new Orlando Magic jersey. So for me, the one that's just gone's bottom.
For me, the bottom one is that one Gary's got hanging behind him, the plain blue with a single star and the secondary logo on the back of the neck as well. I only remember that because I wanted a tattoo of the thing on the back of my neck as well at the same time. But yeah, it's that one. It's too plain, and it's to do with the font. We've gone away from what was the Orlando Magic font. Obviously, we had the Stars jersey, which was, you know, a little bit more sort of cartoony. But then we went with this absolutely bold, you know, monstrosity of a font. So for me, that's the worst one. Yours, Mikey?
The worst one, I'm going to say the same, is that one hanging up with Gary. At least last year's had the star, like Gary said, the shorts save that jersey, and it had some reminiscent of a pinstripe on it, even though it was on a little black panel on the side. That one behind you is just a plain blue jersey with one star in the middle of just like a token gesture. It's there, but there's literally no other character to that jersey whatsoever.
I had them the other way around, so I've got that one as the 6th jersey.
Yeah.
And then I've got, and I don't know if it's the memories of T-Mac. I don't know if it's the fact that where we started off with Dwight or whatever, but I just thought that I called the jersey that's just gone the Frankenstein jersey.
There's happier memories with the one hanging up behind you.
Yeah, there is, but just the one that's just gone is a Frankenstein jersey where it was just like a hodgepodge of everything.
All right, so we agreed then. So the plain two are the bottom two.
I'm happy to go with
that. I'll go with that.
What's 5th and 4th on your list then?
For me, 5th is the Adidas version of the modern pinstripes. And then 4th is the Nike version of the same jersey. I just like the Nike one a bit better in terms of fit. There was more pinstripes to it. And I think I'm just more of a Nike kind of guy than Adidas. So, yeah, that's why I've got them in that order.
I would have the Nike one in 5th for being completely lazy. And it was all it was just changing the neckline and adjusting the side panel slightly and adding some stripes, really, like adding a stripe in, really. So I know we've had this before more off air, but I don't even consider that a different jersey, really, when I look at it, because I just think it was just Nike took over and made some tweaks. So I've got that in 5th, and then I've got the new one in 4th.
Okay.
Interesting.
Mikey?
Well, I'm with you, G. I can't believe we're agreeing on this to start.
What's going on?
No, I like the cleaner version of the Nike pinstripe jersey compared to the one that Gary's got on. I think Adidas fitted better for me, but that's because we go to the gym and lift weights, Gary. We're not skinny little runts like Geraint, so it fits a little bit more. Yeah, I just prefer the cleaner neckline to the Nike version and the cleaner, straighter side panels for me. And they've actually, and you said they've added a couple more pinstripes in. It's kind of an in between of the pinstripes between the originals and what you're wearing, Gary. There's kind of like they keep messing with the numbers of them, but yeah, I would go Adidas 5, the Nike version 4. So
want to do your third, Mikey? You get him first this time.
My third is the New Jersey. I'm going to put that third on the list. Yeah, it's really grown on me. I don't think it's a massive upgrade on the plain jerseys. You can't get any worse than those. There's actually a little bit more character in these, just in the design. I would actually say it would be second. It could potentially be second on my list had they put original fonts and numbers on. I'm not saying it's going to be top, but I certainly think it could be I think it could overtake my number 2 if they just change that. But as it is, it's number 3.
Cool. Kaz?
I've got this one. I'll say this is the Dwight one, so I've got that in at 3. It's associated with Dwight. I associate with the finals run. I associate it as the original take. I remember when it came out, I was happy to see the pinstripes had returned, and it was a more Orlando Magic jersey than the plain one. So at the time, I was really happy, and I was happy with both uniforms. So I've got that one currently in 3rd place, and I just prefer the Adidas to Nike for the jerseys. Sorry, lads.
No, I don't apologise, mate. So in 3 for me, this is tough. I'll probably say this new one, actually. I was contemplating putting this in 2, but until I actually see it, get a good feel for it, then you can't put anything over the 2 that we've all got remaining in this rankings. So, but I feel that Mikey and I might differ on the next
or it might surprise you. What's your number 2 then?
Number 2 is the Stars jersey.
I'm in agreement with you.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay then. That's okay. Yeah, obviously, it's fantastic uniform. A lot going on there. But you cannot beat the original. You just can't. No. It's our identity. It's got the font. It's got the stars on the shorts. I don't know how you can better it. I don't. I just don't. So, yeah, that's my 1-2.
Totally agree. I think the 2, it speaks for itself. Pinstripe 1, star print 2. And I think I feel sorry really for anyone who's designing a new jersey, because I think our pinstripes and our star print jerseys, and I don't think it's homerism here, are 2 of the best sets of uniforms that there's ever been in the NBA. So straight away, you're battling against a legacy that you're probably not going to beat. I remember the change from the pins to the stars, and I was like, I'm not really mad at that, because it's, again, a great set of uniforms. I do prefer the white star print to the blue, though.
Yeah. So here's a question then, Gary.
Yeah.
So if you think the original pins and the original stars jerseys are 1 and 2, why is the new one 4th on your list?
Because of the legacy of Dwight, the memories of going to the finals. And when we had the jerseys, which were the plain ones, at the time when I can't believe we've done that, because it looked like an attempt to be like a Boston or a New York team, just where it was like everything that had been Orlando Magic was kind of sucked out of it. It was like a Space Jam on jerseys where we kind of lost our ability. And then when we brought them back, it was like, it felt like we were kind of getting the Orlando Magic jerseys back again. The pins were there. And like I said off air, I remember when the rumors were going around on Real GM and someone said that they'd seen the jerseys, and they came on and they said, oh, one's got Orlando across the front, one's got Magic, one's white, one's blue, the pins are back. And then they said the difference with the pins is, and they described it as like the way they are shaped, where they kind of they bend out. And they said it's almost like a Superman nod to Dwight Howard with them. And when they came out, I was like, that's kind of what I had in my head, and I was happy with it. So, yeah, I just like the jerseys. It's the nostalgia feel. I think if we went and start winning.
I was going to say, if I'll ask your opinion when Paolo and Franz take us to the promised land.
Yeah, when Cole gets the game winner.
Third time lucky when we get to the finals and we actually win one this time.
Yeah, I think when Cole's holding the MVP award in the NBA final. Yeah, definitely.
One thing we got to just mention is we obviously haven't included the classic, which was one of our city jerseys, as a blue one, because we were just talking about the primary ones. And that's why we haven't included it in these 7.
But it's basically what you got on. It's just the Nike version of what you got on, isn't
Yeah.
it? So,
Yeah.
So, last thing then. So, we've got black stars on the side panels, which is something we've not seen before, as well as black pins. And I think I said in the press release, the Magic said that the uniform's created for the next legacy of Magic basketball. So, is this the start of a slight rebrand? And do you think, would you be happy with flipping those colours around for the other 2 for the white and the black icon and association jerseys?
It'd certainly be interesting to see what it comes out at. So I look forward to you going on your little app later, Mikey, and just showing us what it could be. Yes and no. It'd be exciting, but you do kind of want the full rebrand, don't you? Just with everything as it was. So it remains to be seen when that is allowed, because I think Nike have got a contract till 2026, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know if it's in the full terms and conditions with them. And we've got to roll with these for a couple of years. But I mean, like Gary just said, if we're successful and we're winning in these, and everybody's happy, then just stick with them.
Because if you think the black's the association jersey, isn't it? I don't know why they named it like that, but that's what they do. If they basically have to keep that the same. The only thing they would have to change as a major change is because it's got black panels. Because the Adidas had a blue panel, didn't it? So would they go back to a blue panel and put the blue stars on the side of the jersey, or even? No, white ones I don't think would look the same. I don't think they would pop the same.
If you had the blue side panels like on the earned edition, it might work then. But I would make more changes if I was going to go for the rebrand.
Yeah, it's a subtle rebrand, isn't it?
I think it's a nod to that we're going to get star print in the full rebrand. That's what I took out of it when I saw that.
It's coming back. Hopefully.
If I was a designer, and I've said this before, I liked what we did with our City jerseys last year, where we had the why not us, why not now in the pins.
Yeah.
Now we'd do something like that, even taking that idea again, or the other idea being every player who's represented the Magic, or every player who's played for the Magic in the finals, their names are in the pins, including the coaches and the GMs.
Like the Man United kit of mid-90s, the blue and white one. Do you remember that one?
I remember the kit. I never really thought about it that much. That's Mikey not buying it now.
Yeah, I know. So out of interest, boys, out of the 3 jerseys that we know of this season, obviously this one, the black one, which we've all probably got, and the white one, how would you rank those 3 as they are?
The new one's top of the list for me.
Okay.
Black, then white.
And then you're going to buy a white one when we go to Orlando in October.
Yeah, we're going to get onto that reason in a minute. But yeah, that's probably the only option.
Yeah?
I think probably just because it's new, I would probably put the blue one at the top for now. And I like what they've done with the shorts for that on the band. Probably. Yeah. But I still think the black jersey's pretty good. And I like the white one as well. So blue because of the newness, I'll say. And it's like the new start of a new era. So we'll go with the blue one.
Oh, that's fair enough.
How about you?
I'll go black. I've always liked that black one. I'll go blue second and white last. Just for the reason that if you wear a white jersey or shirt, you always get a stain on it, and it's a right pain in the ass to wear.
And if you have kids, you can guarantee they're going to spill something on it.
Yeah,
100%. So, yeah, so that's the details out the way then of the new jersey. So the only option right now is to pre-order the statement edition jerseys by downloading the official Orlando Magic app, and then if you go to the More Tab Game Day and Team Store Pickup, you've got a choice of Cole Anthony, Paolo Banchero, Markel Fultz, Jalen Suggs or Franz Wagner on your jerseys. Orders will be available to pick up from the Team Store at the Amway Centre after the 15th of December. There will be made available online at a later date, and there will be available on the NBA EU store. And as soon as we get details on that, we'll let everybody know as well. I was pretty blunt on Twitter yesterday, voicing my displeasure about the availability of the new jerseys, and I know some of the boys were in our Twitter group as well. The fact that these aren't available for 3 months and a whole 2 months after the season starts is, I've got to keep it clean, annoying to say the least. And we're obviously going to be in Orlando for the start of the season, and to think that we're going to be there for 2 weeks, we're going to probably come home and not even be able to get our hands on the jerseys yet, is another black mark against Nike's name for me. Do you guys agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's not like they've, not known what the design is. There's people who have seen it before, and obviously reported it on social media. So they've had months and months already. We had this problem with Cardiff City when we were back in the basement in Division 1, Division 2. We'd have a football shirt and it wouldn't get out until October. And there was uproar down in Indian Park at the time. But they've, straightened themselves out, got themselves a kit now that, is out before the season starts. So I really fail to see how Nike, a company of that stature, struggle to get a jersey, which are all screen printed, I might add, especially on the swingman ones, into production and out, to these teams in good time. Incomprehensible. I don't understand it. Very disappointing.
I'll just add to that then and say it's completely stupid. It doesn't make any sense from a marketing standpoint at all, because there is interest in the Magic right now with what like Franz is doing, Banchero is here. People have, when you look at neutral accounts where they retweeted the jersey, it was getting love. I know people who are over in the UK who aren't Magic fans who are going, that's actually a pretty good jersey that you guys have got. And if you think of that and then think, well, kids might want that jersey, adults might want it, there's eyes on the Magic. And by the way, you can't get it till December. So why? It doesn't make any sense. And then when you throw in the fact that the City jerseys haven't been unveiled either, which, okay, they haven't, but then they're not going to be out. So you've got 2 new jerseys out of your 4, and you're not going to be able to buy either of them, I would wager, until December or later.
And they're missing a trick here, because it's not even... So they got, 9 days before Christmas? Mm-hmm. For somebody to go down the shop and get the jersey for, anybody who wants one. Yeah. Very, very poor. Mikey?
I will say, I don't think there's really much blame on the Magic at this point. I do think a big problem is Nike themselves. I mean, the fact that we've got, and don't get me wrong, this is a very small splash in the pond with 25 of us flying over for the start of the season. For us, selfishly, I'm gutted that we can't get our hands on this. I mean, something might happen and we might get lucky. I'm not banking on it at all. But to think that we're going on holiday, we're there for 2 weeks, we're there for the start of the season, and still 2 weeks after the season started, you still won't be able to get the jersey. And considering the first game of the season against Boston, they're wearing this jersey and you can't even go and buy it in the team store, is absurd. But yeah, it's annoying. I mean, the pre-order thing for us is a waste of time, because we're not going to be in Orlando in December unless somebody wants to pay to take us back over. Get that GoFundMe account set up. Yeah. But it is very disappointing, and we'll have to wait till either. We can get a ship it. And that's the other thing for us over here, being overseas. And this is not just us in the UK. I mean, Magic have got fans in France, Germany, Italy,
Australia.
and all Australia, all over the place. And to think of the shipping costs and all that sort of stuff that's going to come with having to get it over as well. Because we, as much as we promote the NBA EU store, they've not been the most reliable either. So I'll just leave it at that. But there we go. So that's Magic jerseys done. Anything, guys, you want to add?
Yeah, bring the jersey out at a proper time, like October.
Well, that's what you would expect.
Who are you going to get on your jerseys, boys?
That is a good question. Paolo Franz.
I'm going Franz on the blue jersey, and I'm going Paolo on the City jersey because he'll be able to track that back to it being his rookie jersey.
Oh, good shot.
You like those little touches of detail, Guy?
I do.
G's obviously going to get Markel Fultz. Like,
either Markel Fultz or Paolo Banchero. Or Franz Wagner.
No, you're getting Markel Fultz.
I got Markel on a lot of them now.
What about
how many Fultz jerseys have you got?
4 or 5.
So that's 6
ish.
This will be number 6. And I'm not saying I want him to ever leave. Eventually, because he's not going to stick around forever. Whenever Markel might retire, right? And the day he retires, you're going to do one of those videos that Jimmy did from Chicago Bulls UK with all those Lowry Markkinen when he got traded away. But
Mikey, when G does that though, you've got to edit it and add on like "Hello Darkness, my old friend."
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, we know you're getting Markel on it, G. You don't need to kid us, mate. And then you can stick the other ones on eBay then to pay for it.
Yeah, the shipping.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, right. Wow. So moving on to last topic, Franz Wagner and Eurobasket. Franz is currently playing for Germany against Spain in the semi-finals of Eurobasket. Earlier on today, France took on Poland, and France, I think, won 95-54. My memory serves me right. Now, if you haven't watched this game, spoiler alert, there's 33 seconds of the fourth quarter left whilst we're recording this. It's currently 88-83 in favour of Spain. And France currently has 15 points. He's 7 of 12 from the field. Only 1 from 5 from 3. But as it stands, unless something crazy happens, it looks like we're going to have Spain versus France in the final in Berlin. But hopefully France can turn it around. Moving on to the next point. So last week, obviously, we discussed... I'll edit that bit out. Last week, we discussed Franz's ankle sprain for Germany's win over Montenegro, which happened like 30 minutes before we jumped on the podcast. But obviously, he made a quick enough recovery. He featured in the quarterfinal win against Giannis and Greece during the week, finished with 19 points, 7 of 12 from the field, and finished with 5 3-pointers. I know at this point we've all seen the highlights of Franz versus Greece, including that step back 3 over Giannis that iced the game. I've not really been watching it, I'm going to be honest. I've been focusing on other things this summer. But I don't know if you guys have caught anything other than the highlights, but what did you make of Franz's performance against Greece?
Well, for me, I watched probably extended highlights, some might say. Obviously, very impressive with his stat line, 26 minutes, 7 of 12 shooting, 5 of 7 from deep. Interestingly, he wasn't the leading minute getter. It might be to do with, making sure he doesn't do any more damage to his leg. Daniel Tice and Dennis Schroeder got some more minutes. The thing that stood out for me most impressive was the plus 28 in plus minus figures against, Giannis, who was absolutely killing it. I think he scored about 30 odd points on 13 of 22 shooting. So I did find there was a lot of ISO ball. I don't know if you've noticed that. All the highlights are all one-on-one, and there's not that much team play. It might just be the highlights that I've watched, but you don't see the cutting baskets. It's all one-on-one, like you saw Franz pull up on Giannis twice. I watched a couple of Schroeder highlights, and again it was just one-on-one. So I don't know. I probably haven't watched it enough, but just from looking on a few highlights, obviously impressive stat line, shooting the ball well. Like you said tonight, he probably hasn't shot the ball as well from three, but they're not bad figures, are they? So as long as he's healthy, it'd be nice for Germany to win, but it's not the end of the day, end of the world if they don't win.
Just dropping on the back of that, really. I've watched highlights and obviously what you see on Twitter as well. What stood out really to me was the way Franz, when I saw him shooting threes in highlights and stuff, so he was almost Harden-esque when Harden was in his prime. I got little flashes of Houston Harden there, which, given how badly we want 3-point shooting, and I understand there might be a difference between the 3-point line with FIBA and the NBA, but still for Franz to be as fluent as he was in those shots can only be a good thing when it comes to floor space and whether it's long range twos or threes. And it was the confidence with which he was doing it. And then when you're looking at the numbers and stepping back, before tonight's game, he'd done 17 out of 33 on 3-pointers. And then if you looked at the free throw stats, 15 of 16 for the line. So there's that. And then I've seen as well, there's a really nasty crossover from Franz in tonight's game, which the Magic account has tweeted. And it just looks as though, optimistically, Franz has taken another small leap during the off season, and he's playing against high end competition. This is not like a pro-am league. This is high end talent that he's playing against. I guess if you were being critical, you would say Evan Fournier could do this. And, we've always had those hopes for Aaron Gordon to take the leap that never came. But it does look encouraging, and you want to get on that hype train before the season, because when you look at it, the prospect of Franz teaming up with Paolo, you're starting to see accounts that are non-Magic latching on to what we saw all last season when we were saying that Franz is one of the top 3 rookies in the league. And we hate to say we told you so, but that wasn't unusual what Franz has been doing if you'd watched Magic games.
Yeah. I mean, you got people I saw Kevin O'Connor, I think, retweeted one of the videos the Sixth Man Show put out in the week as well, with highlights of Franz. And you got people like him from The Ringer that are starting to, like I said, people outside of the Magic are starting to see what Franz is capable of. And I do genuinely think, and I don't know if I said this to Paul or G earlier in the week, that I do feel like there's part of us that are probably still sleeping on Franz a little bit as well. We look at Paolo as the number one pick and the guy. Maybe Franz is that guy. Maybe Paolo's the guy that's there to play, not play second fiddle, but do you know what I mean? Maybe Franz is that number one option. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be very interesting. It's currently 92-88 with 8 seconds to go for Spain. So it looks pretty unlikely now for Franz. But and being a Liverpool fan, and I think this is part of the reason why I've not watched Eurobasket, is Liverpool players go away on international duty, and I can guarantee you 2 or 3 will come back injured every single time. And I think that's part of the reason I haven't wanted to watch Eurobasket, is I don't want to see Franz get injured. I want him to go into training camp fully healthy and ready to hit the ground running at the start of the season, which hopefully he will be. So I think some of it is I don't want to watch. I think we all freaked out a little bit last week watching him go down with the ankle sprain. And luckily he's recovered from that But yeah, it's scary little moments like that. You just think we don't need this season. We've had 2 really bad seasons of injuries and having to go through all of that. So it would be nice to put all of that behind us.
Isn't it International Week coming up in next week in the football?
Probably. Oh yeah, there is. Yeah, and Liverpool have already got half a squad out. No, they haven't. They have started getting players back now, but yeah, it's that's what happened. Like, I'm not taking the mick out of you guys, but when you support a team that's a top 6 team in the Premier League, like that's the reality of it. Like most of your players are going away on international duty, and there's always that risk.
We've got 1 or 2, mate, as well in the Welsh side. Yeah,
it's not bad for a small club. I mean, Sunderland and Liverpool are big clubs, but I'm not so sure about Cardiff. No, I'm just joking, man. I'm just joking.
For context, though, on the France point as well, when we've seen these journalists retweeting them, like national journalists and such, whose job is to follow the NBA, let's not forget that there's journalists who are paid to watch the NBA didn't even vote Franz into the all-rookie first team.
Yeah, but he was a Laker, wasn't he?
He was a Laker, yeah.
He was an idiot. I don't know about being a Laker.
Was it Dave McMenamin, I think, wasn't it?
That's the one. That's the one.
Good old Dave.
Good old Dave.
He should have his vote revoked this year.
Wasn't his vote though for one of the
Austin Reeves?
Austin Reeves.
The new Taylor Horton. But that's the thing is, there was people who would have said, like, I've seen it where people have done all rookie teams and they just left Wagner out.
Yeah.
And it's like, what you're seeing in this tournament, like when he was up against Giannis, we've already seen that happen to Giannis this season from Franz Wagner.
Yeah.
So why are people that surprised that he can do that?
But having the spotlight on us with the number 1 pick, having back Paolo might actually open people's eyes to see what else we actually have. I mean, we've already talked about this before. If I see another article list Markel Fultz as not the starting point guard on this team, I'm gonna punch my computer, because it's ridiculous, isn't it? Like, but they don't watch us. We know that. One final point, which is kind of irrelevant now because I think the Germany game is over. But Germany have only won Eurobasket once in 1993 when they also hosted that tournament. But I think that game is over. The final for Eurobasket is on Sunday at 7:30 in the UK. I think it's 2:30 in the States for our friends over there. Yeah, cool. We're going to be run out of things to talk about. I think we've only got 12 days, I think, till training camp starts. And we're only a couple of weeks now from the start of pre-season, which we're all itching for. So we're nearly there. Thank you as always for listening and watching. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok and Twitter at Orlando Magic UK. For the latest news, visit our website, orlandomagicuk.com. So from Gary, Geraint and myself, until next week, go Magic.